Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about observation skills. Anytime a scientist does an experiment, they have to start with some questions and some observations. When they do an observation, they include 6 important things in all of their observations. First, their observation must be quantitative. Your observations should reflect numbers or measurements. When you do this, you are going to be writing these down on a sheet of paper, and your observations do not have to be in complete sentences. A lot of times they should just be really short little notes. For example, there are 5 seeds in an orange, or the orange is 10 centimeters in diameter. Make sure that you include as many numbers as you can when you're writing down your observations. Don't ask me how many you have to have. You need to write as many as you possibly can think of, or that will fit on the paper. Your observations also need to be qualitative. They are observations that include the use of descriptive words or adjectives. Things that include like the color blue, or a sound they make, or their size. The object is approximately the same size as a mouse. Or for example, the pencil was yellow and has number 2 written on it. Those are things that are describing the pencil. Again, you want to make sure to include as many as you can, and they don't necessarily need to be in complete sentences. Manipulation. Your observations should reflect some sort of change. Think about your parents. A lot of times they tell you no when you want to do something, so you want to change their mind. So what do you do to get them to change their mind? You give them all kinds of reasons and examples of things in order for them to change your mind. When you're doing an observation, you need to look at it from more than one angle so people can understand the differences in the different parts of the items. For example, if you rolled a pencil on a desk, you would learn more about it than if you just let it sit still. You would know that it rolls. What if you dropped the item from the table? Would it bounce? Would it break into lots of different pieces? What would happen if you looked at the top or the bottom or the side? Do all the parts of the item look exactly the same? Probably not. So you need to make sure that you're looking at all different angles and you write down everything that you see when you are writing down observations. Senses. You always need to use as many senses as possible, and sometimes it's not safe to use all of your senses, so make sure to ask. When you look at things, you want to make sure that there are no chemicals around or anything that could be harmful to you. If you're not sure of what it is, then you need to make sure that you ask before you smell something or taste it. Remember, your senses are your eyes, so everything that you can see you want to write down. Anything that you can hear you want to write down. Does the thing make a sound? Does it look different than another part of it? So things that you can see or things that you can hear. Again, things that you can touch. Is one part bumpy, or is one part have a different feeling than the other part?
It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die! It's so fluffy!
Does it taste different? Write down what it tastes like. Again, compare it to something and don't say it tastes disgusting. Make sure that your observations do not include any opinions. Make sure that the words that you use in your observations are free from emotional or opinion words, and use words that have universal meaning. For example, you don't want to say that tastes disgusting or it looks really big. You want to use a measurement. It's as big as the Empire State Building, or it's as small as a mouse. Don't say it's disgusting, that tastes really gross, or it looks weird. Those are all opinion words, so people might think that they mean different things. Make sure that you're using words that everybody knows, like blue or red or 5 centimeters tall, or it's as long as a car. Make sure that you're comparing things to something else that everybody knows. Finally, you want to draw a sketch or a picture. A lot of times you're going to need to draw more than one sketch or picture if it has different looks. If it's not the exact same on all sides of the item, you're probably going to need to draw more than one picture. Sometimes you'll be able to use your iPad to take pictures as well. Make sure that you use correct colors and shading whenever possible. I realize you might not have the exact same color pencils, and that's fine, but what I don't want to see is all pencil drawings or all ink pen drawings. You need to use your color pencils whenever possible when you're drawing a picture. Your sketch or drawing needs to be proportional. That means it should be about the same size as the object. So you wouldn't want to draw an M&M the size of your entire notebook piece of paper. You want to draw it about the same size that it is. However, at the same time, you can't draw a chair the same size as it is on a piece of notebook paper. So when you draw a chair, you might want to make some lines and arrows and indicate that the size of the chair is about 3 meters tall. Make sure you use labels to identify features. Measurements need to be in metric, so everything you measure should be in centimeters or meters. You should also identify if there's a head or a tail or arms or legs, is there a front or a back or a side. What are you looking at when you draw it? Make sure that you indicate those things on your observations. You can put arrows and label them. If you take a photograph, you are going to need to print it out and then make sure that you label the photograph and write measurements and things next to the photo. Make sure again that you take pictures of all the angles, the top, bottom, and size. You can also take magnified pictures as well if you need to, so that you could see, if you were taking a picture of a fly, you could magnify it so you could see all the different eyes on a fly. That concludes our lesson for today about observation skills. If you have any questions, please make sure and ask me. I'd be happy to help you out with anything you might not understand. Also, since we're talking about observation skills, our riddle for the day is, why do tigers have stripes? Because they're harder to spot. Ha 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 ha. All right, have a great day. Thank you.